Well, hi, everybody. I'm Ethel.
And I'm Katie.
We hope everyone's having a good evening tonight. I'm just going to, we got plenty of sound. Okay, folks, tonight we're here to discuss a little bit about Common Core. And we do have some things that we want to talk about. Hang on a second. Sorry to make you go through that, but we had a little bit too much light, I think. I'll shine off my glasses. Now, we've had a lot of stuff happening down in Manchester, New Hampshire, as a result of what had happened down at the Hallsville Elementary School with the class where my grandson, Stefan Katsikas, was attending the class. We've covered that issue somewhat. But to make it brief, in a short explanation of what had happened, the kids were told by a visiting teacher who was actually a guidance counselor from another school in Manchester. The kids were told to take part in a lesson where they would participate in a bullying exercise. They had to take pieces of paper, which was supplied, and write down a really serious insult that they had heard at home or in the hall or wherever they had heard it that was really, really bad. And they, and that they would be mixing them up into a basket, okay, and pulling them out one at a time. Each individual child, and there were no names on these little slips of paper. They're just the phrases and the words that were supposed to be terrible insults. When one of the children asked the teacher if it would be all right that they use swears, she said, well, if that's what what you've been hearing and that's what you've, been told, if somebody has insulted you in that way, yes, you can use swears, right? You write down swear words. According to my grandson, and he's only 10 years old, his complaint to his father after school had ended, when his father picked him up, he was very upset. I take it from what he tells me, and because I did speak with him. They came for a visit during the weekend after this had happened. And he explained to me, he said, Grandma, they had me and all the class writing down really, bad insults, right? And we had to pick one out and we had to yell it loud, and there was swearing, and it was really bad, right? And I felt really bad. He said, I felt like I did something wrong, Grandma. And I said, well, you know what, Stevie, you're a good boy, okay, to be sticking up for what's right, okay? Because we don't need to have that stuff going on in school. Well, it turned out to be that, and then he had explained how the lesson, worked. There was a man of some kind that was put up on the wall, and they were told to say these terrible, insults, when it came to their turn at this man, and to then rip off a piece of the man's body, all right, in a violent act, and then to sit down. And after everyone was through doing this, that they would go back in reverse order and apologize to this paper man, as he thought it was, and try to, take the piece that they had torn off, whether it was a finger or an arm, or put it back in. And the whole the moral of the lesson was that if, and they're still using this lesson, that once you have said some terrible insult to a person, have verbally abused them, all right, that they can never be made whole again, right? Well, for obvious reasons, all right, which any, intelligent parent would understand, it's really not a viable lesson to teach a child. It's a terrible lesson because there were children present who may have been, and I think the class had something like 30 kids in it. Right? There could be very well be children in that class that are very young, right, and very impressionable, and as children are. And when you tell them that once you have been abused verbally, okay, or that someone has hurt you in that way, that you can never be repaired, that is a terrible message to send to a young person or to any person, right? And so, my son at first, was upset because of the swearing issue, but then he had found out all this other stuff, as the course of investigation. And we're not going to go into the rest of that story because he has he has articles which have been published on what happened at the school. They have been published in several different locations. Fox 25 News ran a television interview with him, and an interview which took place on the telephone from our home, where we live, where he had been visiting during that weekend. And that's Fox News 25 in Boston. And then there have been radio interviews, internet radio interviews. There was a television interview where my son went and took part, and got a chance to speak and explain what was going on down in Manchester, Channel 23, which is the public education channel. And there are some very serious ongoing things happening down in Manchester, New Hampshire, to try and bring a stop to all of this kind of junk. He has formed, I'm not going to go too much into this because, we don't have the go ahead yet, okay, the okay to speak until things are in actual operation, right? But I will tell you that there is a website, I guess it's a Facebook page, all right, if anyone would like to go to it, all right, stop the, what is it called, Katie? Stop the anti-bullying bullies, or something like that, In other words, stop the guys, okay, in the schools that are bullying your children in order to teach them to not bully. So anyone who'd like to go check that out, and I will probably post a link to that page, okay, I'll get permission from Keith, but I'm pretty sure, because it's a public page, it should be all right, and anyone who'd like to go there and check that out, that's great, we'd love to have you. And there are, there are so many things going on, okay, as a result of that. I can give you one instance. We have been having a problem. Now, this is not in New Hampshire. I'm not in New Hampshire. I will tell you that Katie here is Stevie's older sister, and she is 18 years old, and she is still in school, right? And Katie has given me permission to tell you something about her background, right, Katie? All right. Katie is what's considered special needs, right? And has been for her entire schooling over the years. And she has participated only with an IEP. Now, for you folks that understand what an IEP is, all right, Katie has a special schooling to help her, learn. She's in separate classes. All right. She has been doing her very best, and for many years, all right, down in Manchester, when she was schooled in Manchester, New Hampshire. She actually did such a wonderful job. She was on the honor roll every single year, right? And straight A's pretty much. And she moved, okay, and we're not going to tell you where we are because, we just don't feel that it's appropriate. We try to keep our address a little bit, private, right? For good reasons, and one of these days you might find out why, but we moved to Maine, and I will tell you we're in the Great North Woods, there is a school where we are, where she is attending, and there have been so many problems, all right, as a result of her attending the school, right? And one of the issues came up this past week, where Catherine, who used to love going to school, why don't you tell your story some? You used to love going to school, right? Well, how have you been feeling in this past year or two about going to school?
I've been feeling like I don't want to go. Like it's
Sit up a little bit so people can. We're losing your chin.
like, why do I have to be in trials? I don't think it's necessary when I already have my math.
Okay, so what is trials? I mean, you say you already have your math. What's going on?
Well, in my train of thought, I think trials is some sort of Common Core studies. And I don't want to be.
Why do you
doing
think that?
I don't know, but
Well,
it just doesn't seem.
What you're taking?
Right.
Are you taking other? Are you taking anything else? Other math? Anything? Or what's your situation over at the school? What makes that class different from every other class?
That class just it doesn't make me feel comfortable. 'Cause no matter how hard I try it, to the teacher, as her concerned, I'm not doing the best I can, and I'm busting my butt off trying to do everything as right as I possibly can.
Okay, let me explain that. Katie gets classes in the afternoon, which give you what subject? And she only goes a few days because she also goes to technical school. But she only goes to this high school where she's going 2 days a week on some weeks and 3 days a week on others. And all the other times she goes to a technical school, where she's learning culinary arts and she wants to be a chef, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Okay. Now, over the 2 days, all right, or the 3 days, depending on what week it is, the alternating week, she has a certain class structure, right? Now, the days you go to school, okay, what's your schedule like? What happens to you? What's your day?
First, I head upstairs for trials.
Okay.
Then, at 9:45, I head to breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
Then after breakfast, I head to art, then to homeroom, and then after homeroom at like 10:05 or 10 o'clock, we go to lunch, and then after lunch, we head to math, and all my other classes are in one room. Like my math, my grammar, my spelling, history.
What kind of history are you getting?
American history.
Yeah, but what form of American history?
From the books.
Right, but what are the books telling you about history?
Like when did the Revolutionary War start?
Okay, so you're getting some of that Revolutionary War.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
And
okay. What grade are you in, Katie?
I'm in 11th grade.
Okay, all right. And so you're getting mathematics. Are you getting any spelling, literature, reading, or anything like that?
Yes.
Okay, what classes are those in?
They're all in the last class. Mrs. One.
Don't say the names right now.
All right. I just call her Mrs. W.
Okay, fine. All right. So you're getting your math and what other?
All of my studies.
All of your studies?
All of them.
In the afternoon?
Yes, in the afternoon, which means It's
Okay, so
not
what are trials?
practically the same thing, but I don't have a clue. But I would believe it's extra that I don't need to even have to go through.
Okay, well, thanks for that. Thanks for trying to explain that. I called, and Katie was with me, and we spoke with the guidance counselor together. And we expressed that Catherine, and because what were you telling me when you said you didn't like trials? Well, what were you telling me about what you wanted to do at school? What were you planning on doing last week about school before we talked with the social worker?
I was planning on quitting school, getting out of there, and asking for my diploma.
All right, so you didn't plan on staying?
No.
Mm-hmm. Right. So you and we called school, right? And we spoke with, and people don't realize this sometimes. Many times the schools, the social worker is also a guidance counselor. All right, that's a social worker for the state. All right, that's one of the rules under Common Core. Right, and the Common Core includes a lot more than just your curriculum. Right, a lot of people don't realize that either. We have a situation going on, okay, in our schools where kids, it's called the whole child concept. Okay. All right. What that means, folks, all right, fellow parents, is that, and this is true, and you can check it out. I got a lot of stuff posted down underneath if you go into my actual Google page. The new concept in schools, which has been founded, okay, by Common Core, all right, Bill Gates and his lot, it involves a complete revamping of our educational system, all right, and it's not like when we were kids anymore. They have brought in social workers which work with kids, get them involved in answering different kinds of surveys, okay, which are geared toward finding out if they have any needs that can be supplied by persons, organizations, and businesses, all right, that are there to service them, all right. They are marketing products to our children, okay, behind our backs. They are doing this, and they're doing it using psychiatry. You know, they test the kids, right, for emotional problems, right? They counsel the kids without parental permission. They offer different. It's amazing that you still are required as a parent to sign a paper that they have to get their ibuprofen in school, all right, which we do, all right, if they're under 18. But when it comes to being able to go behind our backs, all right, and talk to our kids and tell them that they can have birth control pill without parental permission, okay, that they can get an abortion without parental permission, without parental knowledge, right? And she knows these things. Are these things true?
Indeed, they are.
All right, and we have gone up against situations, all right, within the schools, okay, and the teachers feel that they know, always they know what's best, and they try to talk the parent into it if they can, and if they can't, then they, you know, they try to go behind the parent's back. I ran into this past week, all right. When I spoke with the social worker, who is also the guidance counselor at this high school, where Catherine attends, and we had been speaking with the other, you know, the culinary arts school, the tech school, and the person over there, who is the chef in charge of the class, said, you know what, she can still come, and we can probably figure out a ride for her, you know, as long as she's homeschooled. Even if, you know, if you take her out of that school, she gets to be homeschooled. Well, in Maine, they don't have the same rules that they have, okay, in New Hampshire. And so where Keith is able to report, all right, just once, okay, and then keep good records every year, all right, and not have to report back to the superintendent of schools or whoever the people are that you would initially report to if you're going to homeschool. Although he's capable of doing that up here, the impression is definitely you can't, right? They still have some other kind of laws, all right? Now, I was told we could homeschool, all right? Catherine being 18, all right, she would be rejected, even as an adult, to go to that. I was told this by the social worker. She would be rejected as an adult to go to that culinary class, okay, at the tech school, if she's pulled out of school, all right, if she decides she doesn't want to go there anymore, and unless she is homeschooled, all right, and then perhaps she would have a way to take the bus because it's in another town, okay, a good ride away, all right, which is probably a half an hour or so away.
Well,
right?
actually,
We're not going to say.
It's an hour to get there, and then another hour to get back. So that's about a 2-hour trip.
That's because you're picking kids up or something, right?
No.
Okay, well, we're not going to tell them where you are, where the school is. Okay, for now, we're keeping that all secret. But this is what's going on, all right? And there's an issue going on with, okay, she's told by the technical school that they could probably fix for her a ride, okay, as long as she's homeschooled. Now, if she's homeschooled, okay, and we don't have all of this Common Core, okay, knowledge, okay, of what they're now teaching, all right, because we weren't taught this stuff, okay, we went to school, all right, then it's futile, all right? You have to go out and find someone who's considered qualified, okay, to teach your kids, a tutor or whatnot. And we're in an area where there are no tutors, okay? We're a little bit too rural, okay? So it presents issues, all right? So parents who are not on the side, okay, with Common Core, all right, are really struggling to get their kids the right kind of education. And when they are involved, and the kids are involved in Common Core, the schools are very, very secretive about this stuff. I found out through going online, okay, and this is why when I called this particular guidance counselor, as I said, she doubles as a social worker for the state, I asked her, and I was very emphatic. I said, you tell me the truth. Are you guys, practicing Common Core in that school? And she said, well, we don't really, we don't have Common Core. That's only in our curriculum, like in freshman year. All right. And Katie, did we have her on the speakerphone at all during that conversation? I think we did.
I think so, but I
don't remember.
I don't think so. I had the other phone, so I was on the other end.
Okay. Well, at any rate, I had told her that she said that to me, and I said, no, I want it in writing. You give me a signed document, okay, a letter that clearly states that this high school, all right, and my granddaughter are not being taught according to Common Core standards, all right, and that this school is not Common Core, as you're telling me, except for that one grade. You guarantee it in writing. And she said, oh, and her, her demeanor's changed a bit. She said, oh, well, we do have Common Core, kind of, incorporated into some of our, extracurricular curriculum. And I said, you know what? I'm tired of being lied to. All right? You guys are Common Core. All right? You wouldn't say that, all right, and refuse to give me a document if you're not teaching a Common Core program. Excuse me. Bless you.
Thank you.
Right. And so anyway, before we hung up the phone, she agreed that she would go back, okay, and talk with Catherine's, team and see if there was anything that they could do, because she didn't want to do trials. She didn't want to take part in that. Too frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And what did they tell you?
I could go into some type of reading curriculum or something.
Mm-hmm. Right, reading, which is great. Nothing wrong with reading. Okay. But I'm really concerned about this issue, because the fact that she was misleading me, or attempting to rather strongly, okay, about the Common Core curriculum within the school, all right, to me is very upsetting. And it should be upsetting to anyone out there, okay, when you talk to your school and they will tell you something that is totally opposite of what they're actually doing with your child. Okay. We're starting school Monday, right? And she's going to see how it goes with the reading, right? She's going to continue in her classes, right? But if it goes too far, we'll be out there with the picket signs. We'll be with Keith down in Manchester, probably, all right? Because down there it's a little bit different, okay? And you have more say in what happens, all right, with your child in the schools, as far as being able to homeschool, and there are more tutors, and it's a bit easier for parents. Up here in the Great North Woods, as beautiful as it is, you get some real issues when it comes to teaching your kids. Right. We have some stuff that's going to be happening. What time is it? We're getting on there. We have stuff coming up within the next 2 or 3 weeks that we know is happening related to this issue, and we may have some very exciting, good news for parents coming up during the course of the next few weeks. And the minute that we are given the go-ahead on letting everybody know what's happening in this, in this instance, and any assistance that we can provide, then we will, we'll make it known. Okay. Lots of things going on this month, and we're doing it, okay, for the people, for the kids, and for parents, right? Because we do care. Keith is a parent. I'm a parent. The nation is, I don't want to say it, education-wise, going to the dogs, right? Right? And our kids need to be learning. They need to be learning good, healthy, righteous, righteous, like the right way to live, okay? And they need to be learning real math, okay? And not crazy things, they need to be learning not to create problems, okay? How do you say that? See that the schools now are very much involved, okay, in kind of like trying to bring up your kids for you, hi? They think they know better than you, and so that's why they don't give you any information willingly, all right, about what they're doing with your kids, okay? So very important that you keep in touch, okay, with your school and your kids especially. Yes, dear. It's all right. Okay. We can go over a little bit. It's a hangout on air. It's not like ABC.
Okie doke.
Mm-hmm. It's important to keep in touch, okay, with your schools, and to really know what's going on behind those closed doors. Okay, and they are closed and locked these days. Okay, you can't even get into your school to go say hi, right, to the principal or the teacher unless
without
you ring
getting any notification.
Yeah, you have to ring the bell, and you have to you have to pass through security, basically, to get in your kid's school these days.
Yes, which is pretty dopey.
Yeah, but they, you know, they do it for protection because there's been a lot of stuff that's happened in the schools, unfortunately. But still, you know, parents need to be told what's going on with their kids. They need to be included in curriculum. They need to have a say, all right, in what their children are taught. And it's not happening, right? Parents are not really getting that say anymore. And even the kids aren't either. All right. Okay. So, you know, yeah, let's think about that. Okay. Really important issues. All right. God bless you, everybody. All right. We're going to quit for now. We got to go get some dinner. Right. And hope everybody out there, you know, has a great night and a good week. And we're looking forward to seeing you again. Sometime maybe in the middle of the week, we may post something, but definitely next Sunday night, okay, 7 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time, right? We'll see you again there, okay? All right, everybody, have a great night from Held in Evidence. Bye.
See you later.